just based on this criteria, Spencer Petras, 57% completion percentage. I'm gonna take a pretty decent shot, and I'm guessing that I'm gonna be within a few percentage points here. That 85% of the Power 5 quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, had a better completion percentage than Spencer Petras. And he threw for 10 touchdowns and 9 picks. I'm going to say the same thing. 85% of the Power 5 quarterbacks had a better TD to pick ratio than Petras.
And this will be a good opportunity to promote my channel here for a second, Mark, because I did a video on this exact subject a couple of weeks ago where I compared Spencer and Alex's stats to, well, specifically Spencer, because he was the starter the majority of the season, to every other quarterback in the Big Ten. And in almost every stat, Petras ranked between 11th and 12th in the Big Ten. The only quarterbacks that you could say statistically were consistently below Spencer would have been the quarterback at Northwestern, who I have no idea what his name is, and the quarterback at Rutgers, who I also have no idea what his name is.
Noah Vedral at Rutgers. Now,
no, wait. Was it Vedral this past year?
Should have been. No?
Are you sure?
I wouldn't stake my mortgage on it, but I'm almost sure it was still Noah Vedral this past year. Let's see. Yeah, 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 touchdowns, 7 picks.
Yeah.
50,
so I mean,
9%.
That's not good. That's not good. I mean, but see, what I'm saying is that's the league. You can't argue against that, Mark. That's the league that Iowa quarterback play has been in. It's been in the Noah Vedral league, and who's the quarterback for Northwestern?
Well, they played 2 of them. Hunter Johnson got hurt.
Yeah, it wasn't Hunter.
Yeah, 5-star. It was the other 2. Can't think of their names.
And Hunter was never.
Ryan Holinsky was one of them. Ryan Holinsky, and he was the more experienced of the 2.
Yeah. So, Andrew Marty.
Yes,
that's the one that's listed. So,
okay.
For instance, if you're looking just at completion percentage here in the Big Ten, Spencer Petras ranks 11th. The only quarterbacks with a lower completion percentage for conference games only would be Noah Vedral, Ryan Holinsky, and Brandon Peters. But see, here's the difference. This is why I keep bringing it up. Like people look at Graham Mertz and say, well, he's not great. Well, the difference is they have a dominant run game. And even though Graham Mertz hasn't been great, they can pound you on the ground. And you could say the same about Illinois at times, Mark. Can we agree? Like their run game has been better than Iowa's consistently over the past few. I mean, 2020 maybe being an anomaly because Iowa did run the ball effectively in 2020, but Illinois runs the ball well.
They ran the ball really well against Minnesota and Penn State, 2 really good defenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marty was 60%, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, and Holinsky, I don't know why they had Marty listed as the starter. Holinsky threw a lot more passes, 54%, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Yeah, you must be looking at total for the year. I'm looking at just conference play.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Spencer for just conference play was 55%. Just for conference play, Spencer was 55%. Yeah. The only guys below him were Vedral, Holinsky, and Peters. Actually, and Marty was well ahead of Spencer in conference play.
And that's the way to look at it, actually, conference, because of obviously the disparity in competition outside.
And then you can look at again, I'm sorry to people who already watched this on my segment on my channel, but in efficiency or passer rating, want to call it that, 112.8 for Spencer, which is 11th in the conference, ahead of only the 2 Northwestern quarterbacks and Noah Vedral. Interceptions, Spencer Petras is kind of right in the middle. So it's he threw 5 interceptions in conference, and that's actually right in the middle. So 6th best in the conference.
I wonder what the interception percentage was, though. I'm guessing that he's throwing the ball less than most.
Absolutely. And if you look at let's just look at completions here. Spencer Petras 11th in completions. So that gives you a bit of an idea ahead of, again, a really good run game in Illinois, Brandon Peters, and then the 2 Northwestern quarterbacks. And Northwestern was historically bad, weren't they, Mark?
Yes.
So, I mean, we don't want to be comparing Iowa to that. That's not good. And I, again, I bring up the Caleb Williams situation too, because I heard some Iowa fans kind of dismissing that, like, oh yeah, they never had a chance. But first of all, we've already talked about this. If I'm a Wisconsin fan, I'm darn proud of Ingram and what's his face, Christ. I'm darn proud of them for going out and not being afraid.
Yeah,
and going out and making a push. That inspires confidence with me as a fan. Second thing about that is they did it, and Graham Mertz still has not ended up in the portal. So, like those people who say, well, you can't act like you're going to the portal because people will start leaving. And then, again, the other thing is people, well, Graham Mertz didn't have a good season. He's right there with Petras. The numbers would say, yeah, you're right. However, again, we're looking at the difference between a dominant run game and a non-dominant. I mean, run game's part of it. I'm not just putting it all on the quarterback. The run game is a problem too. And hopefully, we saw some progress there against Kentucky, albeit against a Kentucky team that was a bit depleted on defense. But there's just a lot of problems to fix right now with the offense. We keep saying it.
So I'm going to make one accusatory statement toward the Iowa approach, but I'm also going to defend them in another sense. When you bring up Graham Mertz statistics and his lack of effectiveness, on one hand, you could say from a coaching standpoint that Iowa's playing to its strengths and saying we can afford Graham Mertz and we don't need him as much as Iowa needs its passing game because our ground game is so dominant. Braylon Allen was ridiculous. On the other hand, you could say Graham Mertz should have benefited more from the run game. There should have been more open downfield because of the respect given by the defenses to the run game being what it was. And maybe he played even poorer considering.
Yeah.
It's logical to think that there should have been more open targets downfield for Mertz.
Yeah, absolutely. The play action opens things up and just, there's no question about that. I will say this, the one stat I missed here, Mark, total yards. Where do you think Spencer Petras ranks in total yards? Passing yards, excuse me.
10th.
12th. Ahead of Ryan Holinsky and Andrew Marty.
Yeah.
The two Northwestern quarterbacks who split time. Let's keep that in mind. He split time. Now, Spencer, I get, didn't play in a couple games, right? He didn't play, he didn't play in the Minnesota or Illinois game. He really didn't play in the Northwestern game.
Okay, these again are Big Ten stats.
Right, you're right.
Stats. Okay.
Yep, conference only stats.
Yeah.
And according to this, conference only. So there must have been Holinsky and Marty both, they split time in games, right? I mean that because it says that Holinsky played 7 games in conference and Andrew and Marty played 6.
Yeah, they were all over the place.
So there's your answer. If you combine the two, should we combine the two, Mark? Would that make sense to combine Marty and?
It does because they're combining to fill one role. Yes, it makes sense.
If we combine the two, then Holinsky and Marty threw for actually about 1,400 yards, which would rank 9th in the conference. Now, again, there should be an asterisk on this that Petras did miss a few games, but he threw for 856 yards. He missed the Illinois game, most of the Northwestern game, and the Minnesota game. So that is a factor. I'm not going to downplay that because a lot of these other guys played 8 or 9 games. In fact, everybody on this list in the Big Ten, as far as passing leaders, played at least 8 or 9 games.
I'm just curious, what was Ohio State's passing yardage in 9 games?
Do we have to? Do we have to bring that up?
Just curious.
Oh, you're just curious. 3,193.
Yeah.
3,001. That's actually not that far ahead of Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell was just short.
Well,
of
3,000. He was amazing too. Yeah.
So
threw for 536 against Michigan State. Yeah, he was great.
Let's keep in mind, I saw a question earlier about the schedule. Let's keep in mind that you brought it up last week, but there's a lot of quarterbacks returning. CJ Stroud will be back. Aiden O'Connell will be back. Talia Tagovailoa will be back. Peyton Thorne is back, right, for Michigan State?
Yes, he is. Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy at Michigan.
Is Sean Clifford back?
Yes.
He's back. Is Brandon Peters coming back?
I don't know about Brandon Peters. I believe
Tanner Morgan is back. Graham
Peters
Mertz
has
is
been
back.
playing forever.
They're all back, Mark.
Yeah, the
And you know who else is back? You know who else is back?
Spencer Petras.
You got it.
And
Thank you, Mark.
The only one out of any teams that really matter that's not back is Adrian Martinez, and they've, in my view, have upgraded.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah,
From
we'll
a
see.
passing standpoint, I believe they have.
I would have been interested to see what Martinez would have done with Mark Whipple. That's a discussion for a different day. But I don't think I don't think they utilized Adrian Martinez's skill set fully, because man, he was spectacular in moments. I think most athletic quarterback in the Big Ten. But yeah, we'll see. Casey Thompson's intriguing, and like I said, unfortunately right now maybe Northwestern and Rutgers would be the two quarterback rooms. Just going by what I know, mainly just the starters and a couple of these backups. Rutgers and Northwestern would probably be the two Big Ten schools that I would actually rank below Iowa. Is that fair at this point? Would there be anybody else?
Absolutely. Maybe Illinois.
Maybe. But Brandon Peters, like I said, Brandon Peters, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. One more year with Brett Bielema for Peters. And, of course, that was his first year with Brett, if he's coming back. I'm assuming he is. How long has he been here? How long has he been in the Big Ten?
He was Michigan's starting quarterback in 2017.
Wow. So he could, if he came back, this would be year 5, right? Or year 6. No, that's at least year 6. Year 6. Wow. Yeah. So, that might be another school but I don't know who Illinois has. Who do they have behind Brandon Peters? Anybody, any idea?
The one recruited quarterback they had that played wide receiver that was a ridiculous speed freak. I can't think of his name. He transferred to an SEC school.
Okay, so I guess my thing on Illinois then would be, why haven't they went to the portal at that position? Unless Peters is coming back. If Peters is coming back, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, because I'm seeing NFL draft profiles, but that's not always accurate.
Is he projected to be drafted?
I think it's just one of those deals where they've got everybody listed. I think he's in the draft, though. I think he's gone.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah, Sports Illustrated has NFL draft profile Brandon Peters.
Congratulations to Brandon Peters. Congratulations to him, Mark. I mean that sincerely. He was actually wanted, but Iowa recruited him pretty hard, Mark.
Yeah, he was a 4-star. He was.
Yeah, it's disappointing. A little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Career. I attack him. But again, I've heard nothing but good things about him. But that's disappointing because maybe he'll go to the NFL. Maybe you can imagine he finds a niche in the NFL. Can you imagine that happens?
He's not mobile.
No. But again, Illinois, they've had a good running game, so he hasn't had to put up the awe-striking numbers.
So my assignment tonight is I'm going to figure out who's in the Illinois quarterback competition.
And what's the other thing? Is there something else you're going to find out? Oh, top winning percentages. Are you going to...
Oh, I'm not... No.
You're not going to go back there you need to do this for your national show, Mark. Top winning percentages over the past 5 to 6 years nationally, top 10.
Well, you know what I started to work on today, Corey, is this time last year I produced a program rankings 1 through 130. I ranked all the programs nationally. Guess where I had Iowa prior to last season, of course, where I had Iowa?
30.
I had Iowa at 20.
Oh, thank you. That was good.
Again, people get it confused. They think I'm ranking teams, and obviously the current team has a lot to do with it, but ranking the programs. So I'm reviewing what I did last year, and then I'm going to re-rank them, and I'm going to come out with my program rankings. So in the course of doing that, I went through all 130 teams, and I listed their 5-year record. So that'll help us there.
Are we going to, I don't know if we didn't talk about this pre-show, but are we going to start position rankings next week? Or are we going to start the week after?
That's right. We're going to do Big Ten position rankings.
Oh, excuse me. My mind is,
so it's just a review
shot.
Review of Iowa's.
Position. Let's
not take
Position
that
room
on.
reviews.
Maybe sometime in the summer.
Position rankings, man. That would be a cool.
Oh, I think we should do it, but I think we should do it post spring practice.
Okay. So, but we're gonna break down each position every week on this show prior to spring practice. Correct?
I will help you out. I will do a little bit of homework. And what do you think we've got? How many weeks until spring practice? We need to figure this out.
If anybody has this, throw it up in the chat because I looked it up and I'm not going to bother trying to find it while we're live here. I believe first spring practice is like first week of April.
That late?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
earlier.
wrong. Maybe it's earlier. I don't know.
It's usually like about March 15th, 10th to 15th, somewhere in that range.
Maybe it is mid-March. Maybe it is. I haven't.
About 10 or 11 positions. If you take each unit, there's about 10. Corners, safeties, linebackers.
Well, we're not going to do a whole show on corners and then a whole show on safeties. Are we going to bunch the defensive backs together?
Okay, defensive. Well, you got 3 levels on defense, and you've got basically 4 positions on offense, so we've got 7 positions to do.
Okay, so we should probably start next week, right? I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, why not?
So what do you want to start with?
Anything but the quarterbacks.
Anything but quarterbacks.
We've agreed with that.
Anything but quarterback.
I'm going to learn some personnel.
Let's start with running back next week. How does that sound?
Running back next week. Okay.